This is the first time I've actually managed to be able to join all the YouTube, sorry, not the YouTube, the Facebook channels that I wanted to. So here we go. For those of you who don't know, my name is David. Last name is Dewhurst. I'm a minister at Creative Life Spiritual Center in Spring, Texas. And every day I do a daily reading somewhere around about 5 o'clock Central Time, unless like today, work gets in the way. My colleague, Reverend Lisa Ryan, does a broadcast on this same channel. That's Creative Life Spiritual Center's channel at 9 o'clock in the morning. And she's a lot more punctual than I am because as the day gets on, life kind of gets in the way. So I read from the Science of Mind magazine, the daily guides. And this month, it's celebrating Black History Month. So the writings are related to that. So what I typically do is I read the daily reading and then I make comments on it. And I've mentioned several times, because I'm white, obviously, well, not obviously, but I am. It was pointed out to me this morning that I'm part Hispanic. I had completely forgotten that, but for these purposes, I'm a white guy. So I don't really feel competent to comment a lot. However, one of the people who was quoted today was a white lady who did feel competent. Why? She did a lot of work in this area. The title of today is called Many Feelings About Segregation. And the first quote is from Bayard Rustin. He says, "The organizers and perpetrators of segregation are as much the enemy of America as any foreign invader." It's worth thinking about. Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of Science of Mind, or if you like, religious science, which is what we belong to, says, "If we will have faith in ourselves, faith in our fellow people, in the universe, and in God, that faith will light the place in which we find ourselves. And by the light of this faith, we will be able to see that all is good." In other words, faith in God, if we really practice it, will bring about the good that we seek. Drew Gilpin Faust, and I looked her up actually, she was described here as the first female president of Harvard University, and she was a white lady from the South, demonstrates the qualities of an advocate. She seems to have been born with a spirit of necessary trouble. She said she was raised to embrace the revisionist, quote, glorious triumphs, unquote, of Confederacy myths. In 1954, the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court decision challenged racial segregation, and integration was to become the law of the land with, quote, all deliberate speed, unquote. However, by 1957, that's only 3 years later, multiple states challenged the decision, including Virginia, her home state. She knew even then she needed to act. She wrote to President Eisenhower, urging him to integrate schools. This is what she said. "Dear Mr. Eisenhower, I'm 9 years old and I'm white, but I have many feelings about segregation." As Faust's advocacy evolved, she became a civil rights activist and an historian of the cultural incongruence that shaped her youth. As a lifetime ally, she created a legacy of advocacy for the greater good. I'm getting tongue-tied, aren't I? Finding historical truth being distorted, quote, preposterous and extremely depressing and distressing, unquote. Although raised on myths of faithful servants and benevolent masters, as an historian, she was unafraid to tell the story of a South Carolina planter who recorded his own oppressive and cruel slave mastery. She communicates a certain clarity about the importance of ensuring truth and accuracy in our recorded history and truth in education. She challenges the notion that our children should not be made to feel uncomfortable with our past. History, she says, should make us uncomfortable. She calls us into awareness that truth is key to our healing and necessary trouble, an antidote to the current dishonest discourse on Black history. And I would actually add not just Black History. This is Black History Month, so that's our prime focus. However, it isn't just related to Black history, it's related to lots of other issues as well, which we'll talk about in later times. And one would be how Indigenous peoples are treated, how poor people are treated, and so on and so forth. But for right now, I'm just concentrating on what she's saying. So what our writer is calling us out to do is follow the example of Gilpin Faust, Drew Gilpin Faust, and become an advocate for equality for everybody. You know, the thing is, once enough of us advocate for equality, and let's face it, the Constitution itself says it says men, but it means all people are created equal, then until that becomes a fact in our life, then we all suffer. And we'll talk more about this in the future, but it is a fact that until we all start treating each other as equals, all of us suffer. To a greater or a lesser extent, we all suffer. So hopefully this broadcast goes out fine. I was not able to put on a proper title on this, so I hope it goes through okay. However, this is the first time I broadcast on my personal channel as well as our Creative Life channel, which took a bit of doing because the software was not cooperating. If you have any questions, you can email info@creativelife.org, info@creativelife.org, and we will get back with you. You can also get our weekly email, and we will not spam you, give you email to anyone. You'll just find out about our center. We send out a weekly email which summarizes what's going on at our center for the whole week. And we have something going on 7 days a week, and we are all inclusive. Every day we get an affirmation. The affirmation for today is, I have faith in God, in humanity, and myself. I have faith in God, in humanity, and myself. Need you ask for any more? So until next time, have a great evening. Look after yourselves. Have a great day tomorrow. And hopefully you'll tune in again to this channel when we broadcast again.